Hello,
Hello,
how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good, thanks. Hi, Kristen.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How was class?
It was good. Overwhelming.
Hey, Karen. I now have a new space to do Zooms because Sophie went to college, so I can use her room quietly now.
I was muted. I said that's kind of sad.
It is. All right. Hi, John. Karen, why don't we go ahead and start with you tonight?
I don't have much. I'm having a great time seeing all the kids. My one big thing is please, please, please try to remember to do the Convenient MD app every morning. I'm spending about 30 to 45 minutes tracking down parents to fill it out. So.
How many were we missing each morning?
I didn't count this morning. Yesterday, there's 10 on each page and it was more than 2 pages. So more than 20.
Okay. All right. Well, Kristen and I can both get another reminder out too in our weekly newsletters. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Widman can't be with us tonight, but she asked me to share a great story that she had today, an interaction with a kid where, you know, she was asking this little girl how she was doing today. And she said, "This is great. I love the first day of school." And Mrs. Widman said, "Well, but you were here last week." And she said, "No, that was just practice. This is the real first day of school."
That's awesome.
It was great. So the kids are still really excited to be back. It's wonderful. Randy, first, thank you for all of the tech troubleshooting that you're doing. We know that this is a huge week for you with all the devices going out and going home and our online academy. I'm sure you have a couple of things and updates that you want to give to everybody if we want to go for it.
Sure. Yeah, you're right. It's been very, very busy trying to get all of the devices ready to go out to everybody, getting everything set up, getting everybody ready in the classrooms as well. So we're kind of back where we were in the spring, except the spring and early spring and late spring both at the same time. So we have everybody with a device at home and everybody with the device and things they need at school too. So been kind of busy. So what I want to remind folks who have, excuse me, who have brought their machines home with them, that have their students' machines home with them, is to remember that we do have help available. If you go to the main GBS website, it says Family Help Desk. And right there are a lot of frequently asked questions that people may have when they've got their computers and iPads at home. One of the biggest questions that we've gotten from people is, how do I connect to my home Wi-Fi with my Chromebook? And one of the consequences of us going back and forth is that sometimes students are signed in when they're at school. They don't sign out before they go home. And when they get home, the computer still thinks it's at school. And so it's looking for the school Wi-Fi and not the home Wi-Fi. And so the way to get around that is just to make sure they're signed out of everything before you try and connect at home. And that seems to work pretty well to fix the problem. But I've got a big list of all the other frequently asked questions over there on the Family Help Desk. And as I see these questions that are new, I try to add that to the list too. So I would just encourage folks to go to the website first, see if you've seen a problem other people have had. And if you have something new and unique, a new tech unicorn, I'm happy to go help round that up. So I think that's the main thing for folks, is getting the support done for that. A reminder too about students bringing their devices back and forth. They're going to bring it home every night and then back to the school the next day. Chargers all stay at home. So we're expecting students to show up in the morning with a full charged laptop or iPad every day. So as long as you remember to do that, I think we've been pretty good about having the devices where they need to be. And just another reminder for folks to remind their kids to be safe, respectful, and responsible. And that means treating the technology very well when they're moving it around, but also treating each other and well, and making sure that when they're using tools like Google Meet and Google Chat, that they use those things in an appropriate way. And I would also remind folks that the computers and iPads that we've given them are intended for school use. I've had a few people ask, hey, how come I can't start a Meet with my friends? And the answer is, well, you can start a Meet with your teacher. And the Meet stuff is there for your classes. And if you're going to meet with somebody outside of that, we recommend you use your personal devices and personal accounts for that sort of thing. And I think the only other sort of question I've had more than once has been parents asking if they can email their children directly to their account. And the answer is we can't do that, unfortunately. Number one, there's a really wide variety of addresses that people are coming from. And I think the only way to be able to do that would be to, for example, let every Gmail account come in, and we obviously can't do that. What I'm recommending parents do is within the Chrome browser, it lets you set up a new profile for each user. And if you set, and the instructions are right on the website. So if you go ahead and make a new profile for the student that's separate from your own, it's really easy to switch between the two, and you can get your students' information pretty easily without it mixing with your parental stuff. So that's pretty much it, as long as folks remember that your student email accounts are for student business, and personal stuff is for your personal business. So that's about it.
Right. And Randy, we have some of our AOA JVS Academy people who are on tonight. So the email is the same thing that applies to them, is that we have to allow the Academy email in, and we got that addressed today. So we're working hard to fix that, although it may already be fixed.
Yeah, I think we finally got to the bottom of the email thing. What happened is that AOA, the teachers use one email address, and then the system itself has a whole nother domain that stuff comes from, and we weren't really aware of that. And we finally got the specifics of that, and I think straightened it out. There's been a few other things with AOA just because it's a new thing and it's on top of everything else. So we're getting to the bottom of some of the issues that are related to that. I think they're used to a lot of folks independently using their thing. They're not necessarily used to a district with a lot of things locked down, trying to get access to that stuff. And so because of that, I can't just throw the doors wide open and say, oh, we'll take all this stuff. We have to be very methodical in how we go about finding the things that need to be fixed so that we protect what we have to protect, but also let through what we have to let through. But I think we've gotten to the bottom of just about all of the technical issues. And I would encourage people who are in that program to just thank you for your patience. And if you come across specific things where you need help, please let me and Lauren know, and we'll go through and do our best to try and get it going for you.
Yeah, I think it's like, first of all, thank you, because this is something that none of us really expected to have on our plates at the beginning of the year. So thank you for all this extra stuff focusing on AOA. And I do thank everybody for their patience. We have to remember that this is something we've only had for a week. It's only been a week that we've had this. So, and I also, I read an article this week in the New York Times about how every online education system is working out all of the kinks this very week. So it's nationwide for sure. But thanks, Randy, very much.
You're welcome.
Kristen, how are things in your world? Very quiet, I'm sure, right? No.
Not quiet at all, but that's good. That's what we wanted. Yeah. I think we are off to an amazing start, and that is not saying that we haven't had glitches and bumps along the way, but I feel like it's getting smoother and smoother as we figure out and live this new way of learning that we're doing. Lots of smiling faces underneath masks from kids and adults. It's really quite fun. It's one of my favorite things is to welcome kids into the building in the morning, and they are so excited to be at school. So that's super positive. I was going to touch on AOA as well, and just thank everyone for their patience. And just like our GVS hybrid model, everything is so new, and there are bumps along the way, and we're working through those. And I think everyone's doing an amazing job. And thank you for the patience from parents, and we're getting there. We are still getting lots of changes in our registrations with new kiddos coming in. We had 2 new students start today, so we're still growing. And then the weather has been absolutely amazing. So we've had a lot of classes happening outside, which is really nice to see. Super fun watching Chris Hafes go outside and create his circle on the playground, and the kids singing and playing games. And then just overall, I've seen and heard a lot of positivity, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think everybody's adjusting amazingly and making great things happen, you know, at school and at home. I've heard some great stories about our remote learning days too so far that have been really fun, about the different ways that people have decided to set up school at home.
Oh, I don't know, Sydney, I don't think you're on Facebook, but to see people's photos of their home schools, their rooms, their classrooms is really fun.
That's great. So I think at this point, we'd love to just hear from you and hear any questions or comments that you have about how things are going. We're in technically just finished day 6, technically, of school. Third full day. 4th full day tomorrow. And then next week, it looks like what we would consider to be finally what our normal week would look like. So we're getting there. We're still easing into it. Although I have to say that the teachers have done a really incredible job this week without having that Wednesday time. And I thank them very much. This has been a big stretch for everybody to get started. So from anybody who is attending online, do you have any questions for us tonight? The anticipation of seeing if something might come up in the chat.
We should have the Jeopardy song going.
Okay. One comment, there are some classes that haven't been outside much, including lunch in the classroom. The weather has been so nice. Is there a way to structure this to allow all classes to get out for lunch? So Kristen, I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, every class has the opportunity to go out for lunch. I was fairly confident I had seen every class outside, but go ahead, Karen.
I know I don't know what grade it is that meets at noon, but they said it is really hot to be eating outside, and so they've moved back inside. So I don't know.
Even under the tent, it's been pretty hot. Yeah.
So Mrs. Belmont, if there's a specific class you're talking of, you can reach out to that classroom teacher or reach out to me and we can kind of chat about that.
I have had a couple of teachers report to me that they've been outside for more than 2 or 3 hours during the day, which is fantastic. It's been great.
Sydney, I did want to say about the AOA stuff and VLAX too. I spoke with Lauren this afternoon just before I left, and one of the things we wanted to do was just to do a quick roundabout with all of the remote families, just to see how they're doing and get a sense of whether they've got specific technical things straightened out. I think Lauren was actually filling out a form, making a form she was going to send around either tonight or tomorrow morning, just asking, you know, are you having this problem, that problem, whatever, and we get a sense of where people are at. Again, I've been in pretty constant contact with the folks at AOA, so any other technical issues, I'm happy to follow up and do what we can to get you guys on your way. You know, I want to try and put these technical things behind you so that you can talk about content, which is what's really important.
Randy, I don't know about your perspective, but I found the company to be very responsive so far.
Yeah, the people are very nice on the support line, and
Mhm.
you know, it's just a matter again of figuring out which particular mesh and interface had to work together the right way.
Well, next question, can we return the books to the school library, and even more interesting, get new books from the library? So we do have some new library systems. Kristen, do you want to explain both I'm not sure if the electronic books are up and running yet, but we definitely have an exchange program.
Yeah, I think the electronic books just recently started getting ready to be put out, so I don't think they're out yet. But for the exchange program in library classes, Mrs. Klein is allowing kids to sign out books. She's kind of doing some book marketing, sharing books that she thinks kids will be interested in as well. They can just get on the school library database. I don't know what we call that, Randy. Destiny, and choose books, and she'll bring them down to the kids. And then when they have library class, they can return them to her, and they'll get quarantined until they're safe to get back into distribution. So we are letting real books from the library go back and forth.
Yeah, we just need to let them sit for 72 hours just before they go to another kid. And some of the teachers have thought of really creative, interesting ways for the kids to go book shopping, you know, to search for their reading books. And the ebook situation that's in development will also connect with the Dunbar Library, so that students will be able to do different ebooks. But I'm not going to give all the details on that because I don't know every detail about that. It's still in process.
I do want to plug.
That I can add is that Mrs. Klein is really hoping that families get a Dunbar Library, or each child gets a Dunbar Library account.
Mm-hmm.
I did want to plug one thing that's a little bit new for some folks about the library system. The software is called Destiny. And actually, if you go to the GVS website, for students, there's a place where they can go and click right on that when they're logged into their Google account. And there's a little button that says they can sign in with their Google account. They don't have to have a password or anything. If they're already on their Chromebook, it just works. I'm pretty sure it works on the iPads the same way, but I'd have to check. But once they click on that, it literally logs them into the system. They can see what books they've already got checked out. They can browse for other books just like they usually do. But one thing I think some folks may not understand is that it's not just typing in author and name of the book. There are some graphical search tools built into that too. So if you have some littles, you can click on a picture and choose things like dinosaur, and click on the picture of the dinosaur and it'll come up with books about dinosaurs and such. So I would urge parents to take a closer look at the library catalog and how it works, and try it out a little bit, take it for a test drive.
Great.
There was a question.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Karen.
The question about the GVS flu clinic. I'd love to have them at our school this year, but it's not happening. They're not even actually offering it, but they are offering, it's I believe a drive-through flu shot clinic at some local schools. And I was waiting till next Friday, I will send home in the C folders. We still have C folders, right? Or I'm going to send home with the students the forms, and you can pre-fill them out. And then I'll send out what the times and dates are for the drive-through flu clinics in the area. I was hoping we would be one, but we are not. I think Lebanon High School is the closest one.
So they're doing them all regionally, right, Karen?
Yeah. And I believe even Dartmouth is trying to do a drive-through flu shot clinic too.
I know we had that whole good idea of setting ours up in the outdoor classroom and people could drive by. So we'll try again for another year. Next question. One of my boys has been out for lunch and snacks since the start of school, and my other only for recess. 6.5 hours is a long time to only leave the room for 30 minutes. So again, I think it's probably best to reach out to the classroom teacher or to Mrs. Reed, with more specific information, and we can start working on. We are all believers in getting kids outside too, so we can start to work on ways to to help with that. From Mrs. Aruda, we're 80% better. Thank you, Randy, Mrs. Reed, Mrs. Leggett, Lauren, for all you've done this week. It was hard to connect the communication, but now we're in a better place. Yeah, I think we're getting there. I agree. So thank you very much for that. From Mrs. Belmont, the Dunbar Library was going to reach out to Mrs. Klein to help with reading lists for ages and levels. Great. They sent us home with a big bag of books today after I sent them some age-appropriate lists. I was actually thinking too, just with this discussion of the library, when Sora, the ebook that connects with the library system, we can invite Mrs. Klein to this, you know, at 7 o'clock, and then she can give a more detailed explanation of how it connects and how kids can start doing the ebooks too. From Mrs. Darling, you can also request books through Destiny. Yep. And this can be answered offline. How do we recover Gmail password for accounts? Randy.
So passwords for kids. All of the teachers have access to a file that tells you what the kiddos' passwords are. Most of them have sent home some document to a parent that shows their passwords for their kids for the various things. That usually includes their Google password. If you get in a total pinch and nobody can remember it or find it anywhere, we can do a reset pretty easily. And the usual procedures, we'll set it to something generic and they can log in and just change their password. And parents, I would urge you to keep a close eye on where that password is. That'll save everybody a lot of trouble if you can do that. Our rule for passwords are they need to be at least 2 random words stuck together, as long as it's long but not too long. I tell them not to use, you know, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious and things like that. But, you know, short words. And it has to be at least 8 characters.
Okay. Great. Anything else for us tonight? It's strange to be ending these when it's actually starting to get dark. I just noticed we've usually still got the light. Okay. Well, thank you so much, everybody. We really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on these Thursdays. Tell your friends they can watch the recording, of course, and don't hesitate to get in touch. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Good night.
Thank you.